Welcome to our first live stream and inaugural end of the year wrap up. We're very excited to be with you today and be engaging with everyone through this new format. The plan is to do this once a quarter going forward, and it's an especially exciting time for us given our recent unveiling of Standard's mission to build a better world by leading a more modern, conscious approach to industrialism. That's why we felt it was such a good time to recap 2018 and talk about some of 2019's highlights.
We hope you had a chance to watch the video that was sent around over the last few days. The company is big, but our mission now is bigger. And to achieve it, we're going to have to live out a lot of these shared values. Empower, evolve, connect, and inspire. These are values that have guided David and me in our journey. They're more than just words. They're values. We want them to motivate you. We want them to guide you as we build this company together. This live stream today is the first of many that we're going to have throughout 2019, and a number of events and other things you will see that will help us connect as a company and as a community.
2018 was a solid year for Standard and our operating companies. When you look across the business, we know that the next 100 years are not going to look like the last. Digital technology, and frankly technology more broadly, is going to change much of what we do, how we do it, and what this means to our customers. That's why we're so excited about two recent investments. Loveland, which many of you know, is a drone company engaged with a lot of 3D mapping, and Hover is a similar business, just not with drone technology. We're also committed to investing in our most important asset, which is our people. We've made some exciting hires over 2018, and we're just getting started.
We take great pride in the success of the operating companies this year: GAF, BMI, Sheetal, Cplast, and SGI. This year at GAF, we opened the new Columbia TPO plant to expand our commercial footprint, and pretty soon we'll be producing ISO there as well. Exemplifying our commitment to our customers, GAF won both the Home Depot Canada Marketing Partner of the Year Award and the Home Depot Vendor of the Year Award for 2018. We're proud of how GAF and the team responded to the two significant natural disasters that came through Florence and Michael. We donated over $2 million in products and services to the storm-affected regions, to the communities in which we all live and work. And we've established the GAF Cares Employee Relief Fund, which will allow us to respond and allow employees of GAF to respond to these events on a more regular basis.
At BMI, we made some very solid strategic investments as well to continue to grow the business. There's obviously been a lot of transition since the merger of Eichelpal and Bras-Monnier, and we're excited that we recently opened our new Operating Center of Excellence in Luxembourg. BMI also rolled out our Everguard TPO, which is a very exciting thing for the two of us, remembering back to as we built out our TPO business in the States. And in March of the coming year, we'll be very, very excited to launch the BMI Tech and Innovation Center in Reading, England, which will be a pivotal moment for us as we continue to roll out our new technological investments. We'll be hiring data scientists, cybersecurity experts, and cloud specialists that continue to take our capabilities to the next level.
Sheetal, our leading chimney and ventilation business in Europe, achieved double-digit growth in their chimney business and is looking to do the same in 2019. At Cplast, where we provide can't-fail applications like the roof for IMP's Louvre in Paris, we grew our PMMA liquids business by 20%. And in SGI, all four of our quarries were recognized for environmental excellence this year, which is the first time that's happened in the entire company's history. And SGI has some incredible R&D going on right now. We found a way, and we're looking to commercialize a method of taking a waste product, a byproduct, our fines, and turning it into an agricultural product that can be used as an organic fertilizer and can rehabilitate arid soil and make it grow again.
We're also very excited about our bringing on of Martin de Bono and the rollout of GF Energy, which will be formally announced in January. The goal is to generate energy from every roof. It's a big goal, but it's one that we think is eminently feasible. We've already invested over $400 million in solar investments with over 20 partners and have generated more than 1 billionth kilowatt of solar hours. And we roll out this new home product in Q1 of 2019. We are well positioned to reach our goals.
Our related investment businesses, 40 North and Winter Properties, had great years. 40 North saw substantial growth in its portfolio. We closed the Clarion transaction, and we continue to be seen as the thought leader in all of the areas in which we invest. At Winter Properties, which was a New York-based real estate investment business, we've begun to expand our investing around the country and to some extent around the globe.
I'll tell you that for David and I personally, the things that get us the most excited are when we get out of New York City and into the field, both around the States, in Europe, and more broadly. It's a chance to meet all of you and hear the stories that are really motivating you on a day-to-day basis. One of the highlights for me personally was our trip this past summer to South Africa with Hannah Lee and getting to be in Durban and Johannesburg and Cape Town and really get a sense of what the opportunities in Africa. We're floored by the statistic that we were given that by 2030 there will be more middle-income households in Africa than in Europe. It's something that we would be unbelievably fortunate and excited to participate in and see tremendous growth for Coverland and BMI more broadly.
It really is the best part of our business, getting out. We spent a lot of time on the road in 2018, and we're going to spend a lot of time on the road in 2019. Hopefully visiting many of the people who we did not get to see this year. It is so impressive what's going on in Standard all across the world. I was recently in Tuscaloosa, which was the center of our response to the hurricanes. And the team there has developed an incredibly innovative new shingle using a new process, working closely with the team from Parsippany and R&D, moving back and forth, literally FedExing shingles back every night to get it right. Hopefully we'll be rolling that product out very soon in the new year. It was incredible to see the energy and to see the people there. And we're looking forward to a great 2019 and to seeing all of you and spending time with some of the people who we didn't get to see in 2018. So why don't we stop it there and take some questions.
Okay, so we're going to try this because it's a new format and read the question out loud and then and take it from there. So this says, thanks for the great environment for our great growth. How will you help us avoid disruptions by companies like Amazon in our business? Great question, and to help frame the way we think about it, I would tell you that we have no interest in avoiding the disruptions that come to us by companies like Amazon. In fact, we plan on embracing those disruptions and leading those disruptions. We think that we're more or better positioned than, frankly, most out there, given the fact that we're private. We're capable of taking a very long-term approach. We have a very, very strong balance sheet. And most importantly, we have unbelievable talent in the operating businesses around the world. So rather than avoid the disruption, we're going to embrace it. We're going to lead it. And with all of you, we will become the Amazons of our industry. I think we're missing.
Sorry, we're missing a question.
Missing a question here.
Yeah, we've done.
What?
I can read it out.
Sure.
Okay, so this is, how do you see solar growing within the GAF broader Standard portfolio, and what's your vision for the solar business overall?
Sure. So solar is going to be a huge part of the future of this business. You know, David referenced Martin DeBono joining us, building the solar team, which we're well on our way to doing, and the formation and creation of GAF Energy. Solar, you know, we're going to be rolling out the product and the opportunity first here in the States, but it's truly a global opportunity. The idea that you consume energy, generate energy where you consume it, I think is very basic. And David and I talk all the time about this evolution of roofing, where roofing started as just waterproofing and keeping water out of your roof. And then it changed to waterproofing plus aesthetics. So you wanted to keep water out, but it needed to look beautiful. And I think we've achieved that in almost every case. Now we think of roof as real estate. It keeps water out. It looks beautiful, and what else can you do? You can create a green roof, you can put a park, an amenity space, you can generate power, you can put sensors up there. And generating power is very much key to the future of roofing. We see a future where we generate power from every roof. It's going to change the way we live, it's going to change the way we work, and it's going to matter, as much in places like Africa and Asia as it does in places like the US and Europe.
Terrific. I see the next question. In the long term, do you see Standard's business diversifying into other businesses outside of the building materials industry? Great question. I think within 40 North and Standard more broadly, David and I have spent a lot of time trying to stick with things that we know and understand and staying away from things that we don't know and understand. We often joke that that becomes a very self-limiting list. But in all seriousness, I think already we have expanded from our core business of roofing. Years ago, we owned a chemical business, which we ran for many years, and consider chemicals, while not part of the building materials industry, something that's very core to what we do. Real estate, David referenced as well, and also view that as something core. So within the building materials industry, I will tell you, we think of aggregates, we think of insulation, we think of waterproofing. That's not just on top of the roof, that's also underground. But the chemical business as well is very core to us. The one constant across all these businesses is technology. You've heard us talk a lot about it. I think you'll continue to hear only more from us about it. And technology we don't view as a vertical. We view it as a horizontal. It cuts across everything that we do, and whether it's Hover or Loveland or soon to be announced announcements, I think you'll see us to continue to invest in technology.
We're definitely not slowing down.
Next question.
So what are the biggest threats to our overall business, companies, competitors, housing trends, or other building materials?
So I don't think the biggest threat, it's a good question. I don't think the biggest threats are the ones that are sort of obviously on the horizon. It's not our competitors, it's not the cycle in building materials. We've always ran a very conservatively from a financial point of view. We are very focused on making sure the company is always well protected, well defended, never runs out of money. We don't get scared about cycles. If anything, that tends to create opportunities. And the biggest threats are really never the ones you see coming, never the ones on the horizon. I think our businesses, we're an amazing competitor in the current landscape. So the threats that we have to assess are the ones that we don't see coming. The ones from technological change and disruption, and how an industry can potentially evolve in unpredictable ways. And much like everything in life, that can be a threat or an opportunity. And so our job collectively, between David and me and everybody at Standard and everyone throughout the operating companies, is to turn that threat into an opportunity. And it means doubling down our investments in R&D, in material science, in technology, digital technology, changing the way we do things, changing the way we think about things, and bringing new people into the company who think about things in a different way, because sometimes you just have to step back. We gave the example of how we took fines, right? This waste product, which literally we've been paying money to either take away or stack up in our quarries, and which is the limiting factor in so many ways on the life of the quarries. And rather than look at it as a waste product and how we minimize it, we said, well, what can we do with it? And it turns out not only can we do something with it that's productive and where we can make a great profit, but we can help solve some very significant issues. We can create an organic fertilizer that helps solve like a whole range of agricultural issues that we're just beginning to understand the power of what we have. And it's that kind of new thinking, that's kind of step back, let's turn a problem into an opportunity that's going to drive our approach and keep us ahead of these threats.
The next question is South America a market you're exploring? The short answer is yes, Latin America more broadly. From the two of our perspective, the last handful of years have been primarily focused on geographical expansion for Standard and the roofing business. In the States, in North America with GAF, we were #1 in the residential business and looked to grow our commercial business. And we're fortunate enough to be in a position where we could do that primarily through investment, organically, build our own TPO plants, build our own ISO plants. I was recently at New Columbia, which is our latest TPO plant, and was very proud to see the work that had been done there. As we moved to Europe, it was clear that acquisition was the path to get us the scale that was required in Eichelpau and Brasses-Mounier, and bringing together BMI is something that we couldn't be more excited about into the future. And it really gave us the platform to start exploring emerging markets. So I think you've heard us talk about our time in Africa, trying to figure out the ways to grow that business. We more recently spent time in the Middle East and are focused on that as a growth platform, Asia in much the same light. I think Latin America will follow shortly thereafter. What we are well aware of is while we're a global business and scale matters from a global perspective, roofing is and will always be a local business. It's the reason why we have 190 plants around the world, is to stay close to the customer and stay close to the local preferences and aesthetics. Asphalt shingles are the primary product in the States, clay and concrete in Europe and abroad. And one of the things we're wrestling with right now is what's the right technological answer for Latin America. There's traditionally been a lot of focus in fiber cement, and figuring out if that's the product of the future or not is something that we're focused on.
Actually, people development is key to a successful organization. Do you plan to launch a Standard Industries-wide development program? This is a great question. So let me step back and say people is the centerpiece of everything we do. Great teams, great people. It is the single most important thing in our company, period, end of story. It's the first thing we think about in the morning. It's the last thing we think about at night. And creating an environment in where people think they can build their careers, grow their careers, is exactly what we aspire to do. And as we've gotten larger, the company is now 15,000 employees worldwide. I think we have to put greater framework, and will put greater framework over the next few years around development. How do we allow people to grow in their careers? How do we allow them to take on new responsibilities, learn new things, develop? And this is not just good for the individuals, it's good for the company too. It moves people through the company. And this is the benefit of having an organization at such scale, is that you can take on new responsibilities, you can try new things, and you bring, each time we do that, each time we move someone into a new area or give them a new responsibility, they bring a new perspective that we didn't have, and that's exactly what we aspire to do, and the culture we aspire to create in Standard.
Next question is, why did you join the roofing business? Also a good question, and I guess I'll answer it by how and why do I love the roofing business. Personally, I grew up in the real estate business, and it's an industry that's filled with a bunch of entrepreneurs, characters, and it's a very tangible business. I think I found a lot of similarity in roofing. A roof is the most basic of needs. To shelter your family, your business, and protect the things that you care about is a very visceral and emotional need, and the tangible nature of it is something that just resonated with me. I will tell you, the entrepreneurial nature of the characters in our industry is also something that I just frankly felt such an affinity to from the beginning. But it's really that evolution of our thought of roofing. Roofing, began as protection, which I mentioned was very emotional for me. It moved on to aesthetics and how you could sort of, distinguish yourself, on the block. And it's really evolved to this point to be roofing as real estate. And I guess that brings me back to home, but whether it's a roof as a source of energy or a garden or a patio, really reimagining what a roof is, what our company can be, embracing technology, and beginning to figure out what a smart roof looks like, what does the plant of the next century look like. These are things that we're all very excited to do. So it's a business that I love and I guess brought me home.
I think we'll take one more question, which is a great question. What does Standard's approach to a more modern, conscious industrialism mean for our role in society? So this is a great question. It's the question about our future. So we we have this vision that we can build a company, a great company, that offers solutions to people that allow them to build and grow and focus on what matters most in their lives. You've heard us say this. And what we love about the industry, and David was talking about a little bit, is that it is so basic to who we are and what we do and what people aspire to be in their lives. It's the home you raise your kids in. It's the place you go to work, right? It's your first place you live when you get out of school. And so we have this vision of creating a company that addresses all sorts of issues that are facing us in our world, because it's a product that is so core to our lives and who we are. So a roof can generate power and address issues of climate change and in the significant environmental issues facing us. We can clean the air with our roofs. We can cut CO2 by doing things differently and more efficiently in our own company. And we can help people in need, people in disaster areas, like what we did after the hurricanes that came through the Southeast, helping build and provide housing in all sorts of places where there is need for housing. And this is an issue that is common to New York City and San Francisco and Johannesburg and Jordan and all the places we were this year, the lack of affordable and available housing. And that's an issue that we can address with our products, with our solutions. So building a company that at once is a company that we're all proud of, and at the same time addresses the needs of the communities in which we live and operate, addresses the social issues that affect our society, that affect us. That's what it means to build a company for modern industrialism and to build a modern, conscious industrial company. So I think we're out of time. So we just want to thank you. Thank you for everything you did this year. Wish you all a very happy holidays.
Happy holidays, happy and healthy New Year to everyone around the world. This is a first, there'll be more, but we look forward to your feedback.